Welcome back to Inscryption, where this battle is not easy. The hardest part of this, really, is that I don't know what I'm about to get. Partially because I've only been here, I think, twice before. Partially because this is the furthest I've ever gotten. And partially because my memory is terrible. And even the things that I have seen, I can't remember that well. The trader has been drawn. I am very curious, actually, if the cards in their hand are the same ones that I did not pull from them before and did not kill. That would be fascinating to know. But it doesn't matter now. The thing I'm up against is they've just played this, which will kill me the next round. I have 3 damage on the board currently. Which is enough to let me survive the round, but nothing more. So I need to do something. And I think my best option for that is going to be do as much damage as I can and stack my deck with something that will kill it. I mean, obviously, but specifically I'm thinking about Touch of Death. Because I have some powerful cards, but not that powerful. The only things that can really go toe-to-toe with it would be I can either keep chipping at it with the skink or counter it with my own, which is still a bait because... And I'd prefer not to play that card because it's really my final play, right? We're not even out of the first round. This is crazy. Should not have started this late. This fight might go on for a while. Shit. All right, what can I do this turn? At the end of the owner's turn, move the direction inscribed in the sigil. It can't do that. Which I think means it'll reverse and push the other way the next turn. Okay. The Raven goes over its head, but doesn't do... Okay, what? This turn. We're thinking about this turn. The cards in my hand could save me for this turn. I have to think about the fact that the next turn they're also going to play another card, which I'm going to have to contend with. So I think playing something that does damage... This is not a bad choice. Does some empowerment. Does some damage of its own. I'm trying not to play my really strong stuff too early. That's the main thing. But I'm trying not to die either. Or a flyer, maybe. But that doesn't get me that far. This has a lot of specific utility in specific situations, but I don't know how often those situations are going to come up. I'm kind of inclined to throw an amalgam out there because it's not that strong, but it's strong enough to be a nuisance, to get in the way of whatever else is going to attack me and do some damage of its own. And I have 2 of them, and they're not that great. Oh, right! And they also are valuable as blood, or they can be used as such. Okay. So, we're going to play a squirrel. We're going to play the amalgam for the squirrel. We're going to take 7 damage, but we're going to make it out of this round. Yes! I wish you could see the silent exclamation of joy on my face. I don't know if my slight gasp came through in the mic or not, but oh man, that was a great play. I'm not even gonna pretend I did that intentionally. That was just, I just lucked out that the card got removed because I didn't know how that was gonna play out. My biggest gripe with this game, and I've said this before, is just that, for better or for worse, it functions on you not knowing the game. Like, over many, many runs, you can learn this, or you can read it ahead of time, that sort of thing. But the main struggle, certainly for me, and I feel like generally, is that I don't know how this game will play out. I don't know what cards the opponent has. I don't know when they will play them, how they will play them. They are playing, as I've said before, a fundamentally different game than I am. Their whole board is different. Their cards are different. The abilities they have are all different. This is it's a one-way game, but I can't see what's coming. So this really isn't a card game at all. Like, that's the weird thing. It's not a card game in the sense of the type of game that it is. It has cards. It's not a card game because you don't know the rules. So weird. I kind of love this game and I also kind of hate it. It frustrates me, but I'm enjoying it. You capably endured the onslaught of rare creatures, but the true challenge was forthcoming. It's not what I want to hear. Shadowy figures appeared before you. In their eyes glimmered a recognition of kinship, but colored by guilt. Am I about to get taught a lesson for the mouthy guy that I sacrificed? They were betraying you. I remember that one fondly. Well, I don't remember Reginald or Casey. Reginald's stuck behind a stump. Casey only does 1 damage a turn. And actually, this is a very weird position, actually. Because the pronghorn won't hit Casey, and Casey won't hit the pronghorn. Casey will hit the amalgam. Which means within a turn or 2, I should attempt to sacrifice it for the blood it's worth. How do I remove Touch of Death without it being a big deal? The main thing is just hit it for 3 on 1 turn. Which actually... Well, unfortunately, the amalgam dies next turn, doesn't it? Because the amalgam's going to kill the stump, Reginald will move up and kill the amalgam. funny that. I could leave it in place. Let's see what I have. So I'm looking at potentially Amalgam kills the stump, Reginald kills the Amalgam, Casey does 1 damage, and the Pronghorn, the Skink, okay. Then on my return turn, oh, wait a minute. The Skink damages the stump. The Amalgam kills the stump. Does it do carryover damage to Reginald? I feel like we had that before and I don't recall. And the Pronghorn does damage. Is the Amalgam worth removing to try and save the stump? I don't think it actually is. Because the Amalgam's going to die either way. It's either valuable to me... It's painful because it removes the stump, but if it does damage to Reginald, then I have less of a thing to fight. It could be... Actually, Reginald in the following turn would be killed by the Skink and the Pronghorn, assuming they're still alive, which I believe they would be because nothing's hitting them. Versus just sacrificing for 3 blood, which is just what any squirrel is worth. Unfortunately, well, I don't know how... I wish I could see how many squirrels I have left, because that doesn't look like that many. And that's kind of scary. So, I've already got the elk in hand. Got the elk in hand and the stunted wolf. Okay. The Mole Man is a decent defensive pick. It's not a great one because it's just eating damage, but it's better than taking damage. Both these cards only do 1 per turn. Well, they do 2 per turn because they split, but Casey's in a weird spot, so I'm only taking 3, not 4. So what are we looking at? Maybe getting the strange larva on the board, letting it grow while there's not a big threat. Not a big threat that I know of yet. I should put that caveat in there. I feel like that's a pretty good call. I'm not currently looking at taking a lot of damage on the counter right now. Please tell me I'm not down to like 2 squirrels. Should I kill the Amalgam? What happens if I do? Let's say I kill the Amalgam instead to play the larva. The larva does 2 damage. The skink does 1. That's up 3. It does 1 to the stump. Then the pronghorn does 1 to the stump and none over here. So I'm up by 3. Stump's still alive. Casey goes into position. Casey does 1 in return to me. Receives none. Reginald is up. Stuck behind the stump for another turn. Can't do anything in return to me, but even if he even if he came past the stump, it wouldn't be as big a deal. I can win on points if I sacrifice the amalgam. So I think that's the answer, and that's because I'm scared of the squirrel, or the lack of squirrels. So this seems like a weird play, but I think it's the smartest one. Not that I know what they're going to play next, but, you know, we'll see. Trade for what you can, but know this, the rest will stay and fight for me. Thankfully, I have a pelt. Flying and put in front. This is not a very strong card. In fact, this is kind of garbage. What a weird card. Unless it evolves in a way I don't understand, but the Raven is much better. Both of them cost me blood. They're both going to exact the same pain on that front. The mole can get in front of my flyers, but I'm not even playing flyers right now. Oh, there are more Kaminsky. Opposing creatures played opposite to empty space. Card bearing the sigil will move to that empty space. That's not going to come into play. Sharp quills. Okay, what are we looking at now? We're looking at... I win this round. Does the board clear? That's what I need to know. If the board clears, I'm in great shape. I want to believe that since the board cleared the last time, it's going to clear this time too. If it doesn't, I'm in trouble. Please let the board clear. Now the question is, do I want to play anything else this turn? Gonna have to think about that.